Hello, SimTheWorld here with our Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 series. Thanks for joining us as we go through the game and go through the story orders. And with today, we have ourselves a doozy order. Let's jump in and take a look. So the customer says, "Hi, a while back I got a car which just recently stopped working. I have no idea what happened as I don't know much about cars. My ex-wife says that I'm a loser, but driving cars is not. As they say, rocket surgery or was it brain science? Anyway, see what bits are missing and what needs to be fixed." It looks like we have quite a list. Engine related. The piston's bad. You guys know what that means. We're gonna have to rip this engine out of this car. This is going to be a long build. We also have four body components. We have the front left fender, left headlight, right taillight, and rear bumper. We got to give it an oil change. So I think when we take the engine out, we do have to drain the oil first. Be nice if we put new oil back in. So I guess we'll be a good mechanic today. I'm going to try my hand at remembering these parts. We'll see how good I am with this today. We have the Sakura Moon. Luckily that came up right away. We need the left fender. We need the left headlight, the right tail light, and the right bumper. Perfect. Let us get these parts on the car. And with this taillight, we are ready to go. Perfect. I gotta switch out of assemble mode. There we go. Let's move the car over to lifter A. Makes sense since we're pulling the engine out of this thing, we might as well have it close to the engine stand. Anytime we gotta work with pistons, I know this has been such a blessing in the 2018 game where they allow us to take the engines out and put them on the stand to work on. I played 2015 for quite some time. Oh, there is like 3 drops of oil. Did you see that? No wonder he's having piston issues. But yeah, in the 2015 version, he didn't actually have an engine stand. So anytime you had to change the pistons, you had to, lower and raise the engine constantly to get the parts up here and then to get the parts below. So let's take a look, see what we can find. Anything that stands out. I know they mentioned an engine head. I'm just going to take the radiator out now just to see. If this was a real engine we were pulling, we'd probably just take the radiator out just to give us some clearance anyhow. Battery's dead. Let's see about the air filter. That air filter's looking awfully dirty, isn't it? Let's mess around with these little clips. And get that off. Perfect. So I'm going to jump underneath the car. Let's get the transmission removed. Should also take a look at that fuel pump. This fuel tank looks awfully rusty. Pump's no good. Tank was no good either. Alright. Well, those are both quick buys, so I don't have to think about that later on in this video. Let's go ahead and buy those now. I'd love to keep a stock of parts like a fuel tank and these pumps, but this game just doesn't play well when it comes to a lot of inventory parts. It's just a lot for the game to load in, and it just really tanks your frame rate. So, jump up front. Alright, so it's a front wheel drive. We need to remove the front tires to get to the transmission. Probably also should have removed the starter. So I'll get started working on that. I'll pull the engine out, we'll get that disassembled, and I'll let you know what I find. Alright, so we have finished off uninstalling everything off the engine. I want to take a look and see if we found all the issues. So it looks like there's one more part we have to find. That's interesting. I think I want to find that before we get too carried away. How is that? I guess I'm not in the engine bay somehow. Alright, there it is, the brake servo. I just didn't want to get too far with this engine. I know everything was pulled out, but still, I want to be smart about how we do this. So I'm going to, actually, while we're in here, let's grab a new air filter and battery. You'd think there'd be air filters all over the place in this garage, but you'd be wrong. As mentioned, we do not keep inventory in here. Oh, I guess he gets a new cover. We'll just throw the other one on the repair bench and get that back up to 100%. I'm sure we've done that a few times to other people's cars. Got the new battery. He gets his old radiator, though. We're not replacing that for free. A plastic cover is one thing. A whole radiator? Not on my watch. Ooh, I don't want to walk into that. That hurt. Alright, so let's go ahead and... I did want to take a look at those parts. Let's see if there's anything that looks expensive. So 3 of the coils, 4 of the spark plugs, 3 of the pistons and rings. We have a decent amount to get. I'm going to make, let's jump into the shop and see if we can't get some of those. So we need the piston, 3 of those, 3 rings. Needed 4 spark plugs. I'm gonna get 4 coils too. These things are, oh, maybe they're not cheap. If we don't have to give them a 4th, I didn't see a 4th in there, but I don't know why you'd replace 4 spark plugs and not get that last coil. I'm already forgetting what we needed. So we needed serpentine, belt, A and B. We get to go through this laundry list. There's A. Scroll down and find where the B's start. And it is right there. Perfect. No, we needed an idler roller. I believe it was A. I believe we need a fuel rail too. But you know what? Let's take a look at that list again. We need an oil filter, a belt tensioner, a turbo, fuel rail DI, timing belt. Boy, there's a lot. Let's get that fuel rail while we're here. I'll get the rest of the parts and we'll get back to assembly. No point in watching me struggle with this. Alright, I do believe we've gone ahead and bought all the parts we'll need. I'm going to jump in here. We'll get started assembling this all back together. Remember, folks, this is exactly why you change your oil regularly.
Oh my God!
When that oil gets old and sludgy, this is when it starts to add additional pressure to the pistons, the rings. It can't flow through the rings. So these rings are important. They allow oil to transverse, lubricate inside the cylinder there. And when the oil is old and sludgy, it just can't flow that well. Alright, so I clicked out. I don't know if the throttle is any good. I thought it wasn't on the list of parts to replace. I want to see if we can just repair that for him. Maybe he needed that at 100%. You know, maybe we needed to replace that. Maybe we didn't. It seems a lot quicker and a lot cheaper just to take care of that now. Because, yeah, all these other parts are at 46%. Normally, if it's under that 46, that's got to be replaced. Both of these are fine. We'll give them the old crappy ones. I wish there was some sort of a mechanic in this game where, I guess we are the mechanic, but where you get like bonus. Maybe there's some hidden jobs like, oh, you know, we could give them back this 46% coil, but a real mechanic would replace all four. And you get a little bonus at the end of the job if you do them all. Something interesting, something hidden. Perhaps that's going a little too overboard for this game. A little too much in-depth. I don't think we want the cover on yet. So we gotta put the turbo in when we install this car. Alright, we got our new roller. That's good. Got the crankshaft. Get the belts back on here. Ooh, we forgot the belt tensioner. Maybe we did miss the throttle. Maybe it was on the list. Seems like I missed other things today. Alright. Those are on. I believe this engine is ready to come off the stand. Find out very soon here if I'm forgetting anything. So let's go ahead and I actually need to put some oil in it first, I suppose. Because he forgot to do this in the past. We'll make sure he's got plenty of oil. So much oil that it's all over the place. He will never forget. Don't do that to your car either. Overfilling the oil is bad. He may be back bringing this car in sooner than he had anticipated because of that. Get that drive shaft put back in. Drive axles, no new drive axle for you here. You get all your old stuff. You make schedule another appointment, and we can take care of the rest of this car. Should just be looking for a new one. This thing is like really seen better days. Like your rotors should not look rusted over. Like they are caked in rust. But I suppose it resembles the outside of the car now. Alright, we need to put the starter in. Might be able to repair that old starter too. That is the plus side. Whatever parts we take off, if they're high enough condition, we can reuse for a different order, different time. I think that's it. No, what are we... Are you kidding me? There is an order to the pistons? Guys, why didn't you warn me? Oh no. I feel like I do this with every job, but This is really, really upsetting. It's funny. I was just talking about how it'd be cool to see the features of, some extra perks for doing some hidden jobs that just really complete the order. And wouldn't it be the right thing to do to replace all 4 pistons? I guess the perk for doing the right job is, of course, not having to do it a second time. Ah. I actually ended up just leaving the engine in the car. To switch out 1 piston was really quicker. Just took off the head, took off the oil pan, and it wrapped up fairly quickly, but it's still annoying that you replace 3 of them and the 4th still needed replaced in the end. But with that, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching as I simulate my life one game at a time. If you like this video, please be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the future action. You can follow on Twitter for updates to future games being played, as well as follow on Twitch as I try to stream 3 days a week. Thanks, and I'll see you next time at SimTheWorld.